this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Hey, everybody. The official Big Bang Theory podcast is back, covering seasons 3 and 4 of the show. Each week, host Jessica Radloff speaks with crew and cast members like Kunal Nair, Mayim Bialik, and Kevin Sussman. Hear about the Easter eggs you may have missed, behind-the-scenes stories, and how certain real-life relationships shaped some of the most memorable storylines. Watch the official Big Bang Theory podcast on HBO Max or wherever you get your podcasts.
Work can be a little weird. Cringy training seminars, coworkers who won't stop talking about their plant, forgetting the mute button at an inopportune moment. We have to deal with a lot on any given workday. Sometimes it can feel hard to thrive and move forward in your career. Well, that's where LinkedIn comes in. LinkedIn helps you get ideas and insights from experts in your field, connect with people professionally, grow your network, and access tools designed to help you find the right fit for your next role. Whether you're just getting started, figuring out your next move, or looking to accelerate your career, LinkedIn is built to support you at every stage because LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit linkedin.com/knowstuff to learn more.
Welcome to Stuff You Should Know, a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Josh, and there's Chuck, and Jerry's here too, so that makes this a rough and tumble, rootin' tootin' episode of Stuff You Should Know. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good. You just celebrated a birthday just 24 hours ago and less.
I did.
Happy birthday, Chuck.
Thanks, man.
How do you feel?
Go.
Good?
I feel great. I'm tired today, but not because of birthdays. I don't know. I'm tired today.
Do you remember the times years back when you would be tired because of your birthday?
Right, exactly. It's like the day after.
Right, exactly. Now you're just tired because you're a full year older.
Yeah, I was tired before my birthday, too.
Right. But we're not talking about being tired or birthdays, Chuck, are we? We're talking about playing cards.
Yeah, this one, Dave Bruce helped us out. This is chock full of fun little nuggets that I think next time you're playing cards with people, you can just kind of pepper these in.
Yeah, and they'll love you for it. They'll say, give us another one.
Yeah, this is one of those that just has lots and lots and lots of little fun factoids. And yes, I said factoids.
Yeah, they're 10% of a fact.
That's right. Oh, boy. I wonder if anyone will get that.
A couple people will on the Army page, I'm sure. So, Chuck, we talked a lot about playing cards before in our tarot episode.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talked about was that it's a myth that playing cards developed from tarot, which is what I had always thought too. I don't remember if I said that on the tarot episode, but it was quite the opposite. And playing cards were around long before tarot cards were. Even though they are related, tarot cards were originally invented as new trump cards, basically. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of evolved into the cartomancy and all that stuff and just took off from there and went on their own path. But playing cards themselves are much, much older. And there's a lot of debate about exactly where the first playing cards were developed. And a lot of people say China. Obviously, China invented a bunch of stuff. And it's possible China did invent playing cards, but they seem to have possibly invented them in isolation, and they may or may not have influenced the playing cards that we trace our lineage back to. Our playing cards today trace its lineage back to.
Yeah, and they may not be, as far as the original Chinese cards go, as old as they think, because, some people point to this game called the Yezi Ge. Yeah?
I'll go with that.
Okay. Y-E-Z-I, separate word, G-E, called the Chinese Leaf Game. And this was like 9th century CE, Tang Dynasty time. And for a long time, people, I think, were like, well, the leaves in the Leaf Game were pieces of paper and probably cards. But then more, scrutiny has landed on, no, maybe the leaves were just like a rule book or a log book that you wrote stuff down because it was really a dice throwing game.
Right.
Or it could have been more like dominoes and the cards were used in that way, but not used like actual playing cards.
Right.
But we do think we know pretty sure that the Chinese eventually did get their playing cards in isolation in the 13th century, not I mean, pretty close to when Europe got them.
Yeah, so 1294 is the first unambiguous reference to an actual, what we would call playing cards in China. Europe, they showed up in 1365. So
Pretty
that
close.
is a really, really short amount of time for China to have influenced Europe. So that's not where European cards came from. Instead, European cards came from the Mamluk Empire, which I believe we also talked about in the tarot episode too, right?
I think so, in Egypt.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Like, these cards came about because of, or they got popularized, I guess, because of trick-taking games. Like, not the exact games we play today, like euchre and spades and hearts, and I think bridge is another one. But kind of a similar thing where you have, a suit that takes the hand, aka the trick.
Right.
And there's usually a trump card or a trump suit. And these were like among the very first card games. And apparently in medieval times, they were wild for this game.
Yeah.
For these kinds of games.
They went so nuts that some officials were like, you have to stop playing that. We're going to actually ban it.
Yeah.
We don't get it. And you guys are into it. So we're going to say you can't do that anymore.
Right. But those Mamluk cards from Egypt were pretty similar to what we have today, right?
Yeah. So there's 52 in a deck, which is
Check.
what we have today. 4 suits,
Check.
13 cards per suit.
Is
Yes.
that what we have? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, yes, that's right. So, yes, that 13 times 4 is 52.
Well, I think where I'm getting mixed up is they had a number 1 card, but they did not have a queen. Is that the swap?
Correct.
Okay.
So, yeah, they had a 1 card, 1 through 10, and then they had courtesan cards, which we call court cards or face cards today. But like you said, they didn't have a queen. The queen wasn't introduced until the French in, I think, the 15th century said, no, we need to feminize this a little bit, and much for the better. But back in the Arab world, they were like, no, we're not doing that. This is the 13th century. We're just going to go with the Malik, the king, the Naib Malik, which would be the king's like right-hand man,
Sure.
the Thani Naib, which would be the king's right-hand man.
The second AD.
Yes. And that was it. Those were those in addition to 1 through 10, those were your 13 cards in each suit. And the suits themselves, the cards had a lot of similarities to what we think of today. Like they had pips. Each suit was represented by a symbol that's called a pip.
I never knew that.
I knew that somewhere in the back of my head. I'm not sure why. But if you looked at one of these cards, one of these very ancient Mamluk deck cards, there would be, say, like 13 or say 8 pips on one card. That's the 8 of, say, cups. If there were 8 cups on there. Just like today. If there's 8 little spades on there, that's the 8 of spades. It follows in a really old tradition, I guess is what I'm trying to say, in a really, really clumsy way.
Well, the difference is they didn't write a number 8. They just had 8 of the pips pictured to represent that number.
And we still have that. We just added the number as well.
Exactly. We've got both.
Yes.
And we'll get to there because I think the history of how these things sort of change from country to country as they became the leading manufacturers is pretty interesting.
It really is. They say, we'll take over from here every century or so.
Yeah, and I think it looks like as far as Europe goes, the Spanish and the Italians were the first to start manufacturing and using playing cards. They are called Latin decks. And they had as their 4 suits the cups, the coins, the swords, and the clubs. But instead of, I don't think we mentioned that a polo stick was the club in the Mamluk cards. Spain said, what the heck is polo? Our clubs look like something you beat someone over the head with, so that's what we're going to go with.
Yeah, they look like real Captain Caveman type stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So the Spanish being among the first to start adopting these decks is pretty appropriate because they were under rule by the Moops, or they had been for just a few centuries before. So they were in a lot of contact with their Muslim neighbors. So for that to be imported to Spain and then probably trickle over to Italy, that makes a lot of sense. And so that's kind of reflected in what the Spanish word for playing cards is, naipes, Naipes. And the Arabic name for playing cards is naib, N-A apostrophe I-B. So it very clearly descended from it. And that's one of the things that really fascinates me about playing card history is, like, yes, there's neat, like, symbolism and weird stuff going on, but it's all explicable. And it all follows, like, in this neat tradition that was built upon and changed, but really still kind of kept, like, the general guardrails that it was originally set up with.
Yeah, and the changes are like kind of fairly minor, and they usually have to do with whatever made the most sense in that country. For instance, Spain not knowing what a polo club was.
Right, but they're like, you can hit somebody over the head with that, so we'll replace it with the club.
Yeah, we'll use the smasher.
Right.
And there is some speculation and theories about what these initial, and this is in the medieval society, what these 4 suits represented. But one of the theories that kind of makes sense, I think, is that the sword was for the military or the nobles, the cup for the clergy, the coin for the merchants, makes sense, and the club for the peasants. And then in Europe, we moved to Germany. They kind of took over in the 15th century as being, I guess, champion card makers.
Sure.
And they replaced the cup with a heart. It's getting a little more like we know it now.
Yeah.
The club was replaced by an acorn.
Which is a type of mast.
The sword becomes a leaf, but if you look at it, it's sort of a similar shape as what we would know as a spade.
Yeah, it's like an ivy leaf almost.
Yeah. And then the coin, because they were nuts about falconry in 15th century Germany, and falcons had bells attached to the hawks and falcons, I guess. Why don't they call it hawkery?
I think falcons take the cake in falconry. Okay. You know, hawks play second fiddle to it. They're like the Thani Naib to the falcons.
You know, the joke here in Atlanta that I use is whenever we see a hawk or a falcon, and we have both, obvious as evidenced by our sports teams, Emily says, "Is that a hawk or a falcon?" And I said, "Well, you'd know it's a falcon if it flew into a tree and then hit the ground."
What does that mean?
The reference to the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Like it was like, I'm flying so high, and then no, not anymore. All of a sudden, yeah.
Exactly.
But I mean, doesn't the same apply to the Hawks too?
Well,
or do the Hawks just never get off the ground?
No, you could kind of interchange them.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Falcons and Hawks had bells, and the coin on the German cards became a bell because they were wild about falconry.
Yeah, it's very cute. The Germans had definitely the most rustic pips of all time. I mean, an acorn, come on. That's wonderful. So the Germans are going along. This is the 15th century. They dominated that as far as the card manufacturing went. And then the French took over in the 16th century. And Rouen, which is kind of in the northwest of France, became the playing card capital of Europe. And one of the reasons it became the playing card capital of Europe, as we'll see, is because they put out so many playing cards and their production increased so dramatically that it's just mind-boggling. And as a result, the pips that the French adapted are the ones we still use today, even though we have different names. They were the ones who came up with the designs we use today.
Yeah, so there were hearts and clovers, self-explanatory. They had the diamonds, but their diamonds were represented paving tiles called carreaux, and then the pike, which is the spear tip, I guess, is the spade.
Right, just the tip.
Right, but they didn't. Oh, he always get me with that. They didn't call it a spade at the time, but they did a couple of key things as far as what we recognize as playing cards today. Is they came up with the red and the black colors. Very big deal to differentiate that and to make card tricks more fun. And then they, like you said, they manufactured a ton of them, and they did this because they standardized the pips so that they could be stenciled on, and it was a lot cheaper and a lot faster than hand drawing or doing wood cuttings and hand painting these decks of cards, which was super expensive and time consuming.
Yes, and it made the deck of cards, incredibly unattainable to the average person back in the up to the 16th century when the French took over. And once the French took over and started producing these cards en masse, the card playing was just it just took off like a rocket. People had already loved playing cards, but now more people could love playing cards, and it was because they figured out how to print these things, more cheaply and more quickly. So that's why we use the French card today, just by virtue of the fact that they produced so many that it became like the dominant type of card in the world. And then the other reason I saw is that England eventually adopted the French card, and then kind of put their own twist on it, basically just renaming it. And then British colonialism is one reason why so many people around the world use the French deck today. So they took the French deck and spread it around the world.
Yeah, and so the English, like you said, they used the same pip icons. I was about to say logo, but I guess they're icons. And they just sort of changed the meaning. So the clover, they went back to calling it the club, even though it's a clover when you look at it. So that's why if you've ever wondered why in the heck do they call that thing a club, that's why. It's
a hat tip to the Mamluk.
The OGs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The spade, it looks like sort of the head of a spade, a type of shovel. But we think that the suit name actually probably, and this makes a lot of sense, is the anglicized version of espada, which means sword in Spanish, because sword was the original suit. And then the diamond, they just called the diamond, but they said, you know what, this has nothing to do with dumb paving tiles. Let's just call it a diamond. And as Dave so aptly puts, a heart is just a heart.
Is that an actual song, or are you making up your own?
I just made that up, but I bet you there's a song that goes, a heart is just a heart.
Boy, you really do that in actuality, huh?
Well, that doesn't really count. It's usually more like, and by the way, we heard from a lot of listeners who do this.
I know. Yeah, you're definitely far from alone.
Yeah, I didn't think I was unique in any way, but it's usually like sung to the lyrics or sung to the tune of another song.
Right. Like, you know when you're a heart all the way.
Right.
Like that.
Exactly.
I looked up where that heart shape came from, because if you think about it, our hearts don't really resemble that very much. And,
like the human heart?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
what is that?
I know. I cannot find the original source. There's a lot of debate over it, but it's centuries old. And prior to it, when it first started to emerge, the heart was kind of iconographied. Agraphized? I don't know.
No, I think you had it right.
Okay. As a kind of a pine cone shape.
Oh, interesting.
Which is a little more accurate, but I like the new heart icon. New meaning centuries old, but the most recent one.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be very funny if it looked like the actual human heart.
Yeah, he just, the guy in Temple of Doom just pulls out like this heart emoji from the guy's chest.
Should we take a break?
Yes, I think we should.
All right, we're going to take a break and get to those face cards right after this.
Learning things with Chuck and Chuck. Learning all the things, stuff you should know.
Hey everybody, I want to talk to you a little bit about Tide Evo because it represents over 10 years of innovation and product development. Tide Evo is a first-of-its-kind technology where tens of thousands of minuscule fibers are spun together to form a 6 times powerful layer packed with scrubbers, brighteners, pre-treaters, and fresheners. And that's going to deliver a breakthrough clean that's so powerful, it feels like magic.
Yeah, it is kind of like magic. Tide Evo is revolutionary. A 100% concentrated, waterless laundry tile that's made of compressed microfiber soap layers rather than liquid or powder. And it's not like pods or sheets because it uses 6 layers of detergent fibers to deliver superior cold water cleaning without plastic packaging of any kind. And it provides a mess-free, lightweight solution that dissolves lickety-split. So whenever you run into a laundry challenge, turn to Tide Evo. It's revolutionary. It's magic. Try new Tide Evo. Real laundry magic. If you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, you know how hard it is to get things done fast and well. Why not have both?
That's right. That's why Wix Harmony stands out. It's a website builder that helps create a site quickly without compromising your vision. You can build a fully functional website for any type of business by just describing what you want. Then everything can be customized and edited to get it exactly right.
There's also built-in support to help answer questions or guide you along the way. And here's what makes it even better. You can click anywhere on your site and make changes instantly. It's these details that make creating with Wix Harmony feel seamless.
That's right. So join millions of businesses already using Wix and try Wix Harmony for free at wix.com/harmony. That's wix.com/harmony. Hey, everybody, we want to talk to you about The Big Bang Theory. That's a show that became one of the most defining sitcom of its era and really built a fan base around its memorable characters and unique group dynamic.
That's right, which is why we think you'll enjoy the official Big Bang Theory podcast. It's back, covering seasons 3 and 4 of the show. Host Jessica Radloff sits down with crew and cast members like Kunal Nair, who plays Raj, Mayim Bialik, who plays Amy, and Kevin Sussman, who plays Stuart.
That's right. You're going to learn all about the Easter eggs you may have missed, behind-the-scenes stories, and how certain real-life relationships shaped some of the most memorable storylines.
Yeah, there's cast reflections years after the series aired and expanded content around famous episodes and storylines. It is exactly what you're looking for if you're a fan of The Big Bang Theory. The season is on video, so watch the official Big Bang Theory podcast on HBO Max, or listen wherever you get your podcasts, and stream episodes of The Big Bang Theory on HBO Max.
All right, so we mentioned the courtesan cards, a.k.a. face cards is how we know them today. They represented the royal court, of course. And just like today, back then, they were the champion cards, the most valuable on the deck. We'll get to the ace. There was no ace card yet.
Yeah.
And I think the story of the ace card is pretty cool anyway, so we'll save
great.
that.
So great.
But these face cards were all men until, like you mentioned before, the French introduced the queen. And here, to me, is one of the first really fun facts of the episode that I love is for a long, long time, and I guess they don't do it anymore, but in the UK and in British India, they would follow what they called Commonwealth rule or British rule, which is to say that the king and the queen can flip-flop in which one is better in status, depending on who the monarch is at the time. So if you have a woman on the throne, then the queen is the top card just below the ace, or until the ace was came along.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, agreed. Something I didn't realize is that for many centuries, the kings, the queens, and the jacks, which were at the time called the knaves, were actually modeled on historical figures.
Yeah.
Like Charlemagne was the king of hearts, I believe. King David, the guy who killed Goliath, he was spades. Julius Caesar was diamonds, and Alexander the Great was clubs. Had no idea.
Cool.
But if you look at a super old deck, and I'm guessing somewhere around probably up into the 19th century at some point, you could say, yeah, of course that's Charlemagne. I'd recognize him anywhere.
Look at that beard on King David.
Right.
He's juggling a rock.
Yep.
Should we go through the queens and the jacks, or just suffice to say that they stood for people?
No, I think we should. Give them a shout out.
The queens were Pallas of Athena, Judith, Rachel, and Argene, which could be an anagram for Regina.
I've seen that all over the place. If you search Argene, the only thing that comes up is the card name. So there doesn't seem to have been a historical person named Argene.
Yeah, this is one of those, upon research, that it's kind of like it's difficult to corroborate some of this stuff, but you see the same facts everywhere, which a lot of times, when we did our episode on how to research stuff well, that can be a big red flag.
Yeah.
But maybe this is the case where it's not so much a red flag and just like lore that people have just agreed upon. Yeah,
because if there is a red flag attached to it, we usually turn it up eventually, and this one just didn't seem to have it. But yes, I'm with you. It smelled like it, but upon a much deeper smell, I was like, okay, this might actually work.
Who were the jacks?
The jacks were Hector, who was the hero from the Greek city of Troy, Etienne de Vignoles, who was a hero of the 100 Years' War in France.
Okay.
Ogier the Dane, who was Charlemagne's knight. And either Judah Maccabee or Lancelot was the knave of clubs. And Judah Maccabee was from the Hanukkah story. Lancelot was one of King Arthur's knights. Yeah.
The Maccabees.
So yeah, if depending on the deck you had, it would basically you just knew back in the day that if you were playing the King of Hearts, that was Charlemagne right there. It wasn't just this generic weird looking king. It was supposed to be somebody.
Yeah, a brand name king.
Exactly.
And speaking of brand name kings, got to talk about the Suicide King.
Definitely.
That is the king that looks like he's stabbing himself in the head with a sword. That is the one, if you're looking at a modern deck of cards, that's the King of Hearts, and that's the one that looks most different from the other kings in that he has 4 hands and does not have the mustache, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And like I said, appears to be stabbing himself with a sword. For a long time, there was a legend that's how Charlemagne took his life, but we know that's not true,
right?
Because he died of pleurisy. But what they now think is that the early French decks, Anglo-French decks, had a King of Hearts with an axe above his head, and that just printing over time, the axe went kind of further and further down until it was behind his head such that you couldn't even see the axe blade. And so I guess that axe handle just became a sword, looking like it was going into the king's head.
Yeah, and now that you know, so like that axe was originally, it was like the King of Hearts was captured in the backswing. Like he was about to chop somebody with his axe, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And now if you know that, you can see that the King of Hearts is now just doing the same thing with a sword. He's in the backswing.
Yeah, he's about to lob someone's head off.
Right, but not his own.
Lob, yeah.
Either one. The important point is someone's head is about to come off. They don't care whether it's lob or lop.
Look at that, no mustache.
Yeah, no stash. And one other thing, the King of Diamonds now is the only one with an axe, which I never noticed before.
I didn't either. I mean, you don't often, or at least I don't often, sit around and look at a deck of cards. Like, I play cards, but I never study them because it's sort of one of those things that's so ubiquitous in your life over the years,
right?
That you don't really. It's interesting. Might tie into our semantic satiation short stuff coming up.
Nice tease.
But let's talk about that ace card because it took a while for the ace, and it has a really neat story of how it happened. But it took a while for the ace to become the high card because when the ace eventually did come along, it was the number 1, and it was the lowest card. It was the worst card on the deck.
Right.
It was so lowly that they referred to it as an as, which was the least valuable coin in the Roman Empire. But then the French changed all that, right?
Yeah, this is why the ace can sometimes be the highest card in the deck or serve as the number 1 card. Because if you've never noticed before, the numbered cards start at 2. They go through 2 through 9, right? No, 2 through 10. Yes, absolutely. I'm 100% certain. It's 2 through 10. But this the AS card, it was named after the least valuable coin in the Roman Empire. And it was kind of like a slang term to kind of just talk about how lowly that 1 card was. Then the French Revolution came along, and they kind of conceptually pitted the as card against the court cards. And they said, you know what? This lowly 1, we're going to make it topple the court, the king, the queen, the jack, and now the ace is the top of the heap. This little lowly single card is now higher than any of the other ones. And then, by the way, they also changed the king, queen, and jack to liberties, equalities, and fraternities. So they weren't really into kings and queens around the French Revolution very much.
Yeah, and if you've ever wondered why the ace is the most sort of lavishly decorated card, generally speaking, it's got a cool story behind that one too.
Yeah.
So the British had a pretty interesting solution to taxing decks of cards, which was if you were a card maker, you couldn't print your own ace of spades. You had to get that from the government as an official, card of the British Empire.
Right. Yeah.
And that was your tax, and they were As such, they were very highly decorated. They were uniquely stamped to try and prevent forgeries from happening.
Right.
And you couldn't, like, as a card manufacturer, if you were just like, forget that, I'm not going to, we're just going to print our own ace of spades and they'll never know. You could be hung or have your head lopped off or lobbed off.
You could be hanged, you mean?
The penalty, what did I say, hung?
Yeah.
The penalty was death if you forged an ace of spades playing card.
Yeah, there was a man named Richard Harding, which as far as I or anybody else can tell, was hanged for forging an ace of spades. Isn't that nuts?
That is crazy to think about. And a weird, I guess, it sounds like a weird way to pull off a tax, but it's also sort of brilliant in a way.
Yeah. But I mean, that's why, so each company had their own design, and it was a lavish design, and that's why still today the ace of spades just stands out as the most lavishly designed card. There was one other thing about that, too. While they were, during that period, I think in the early 19th century to the mid-19th century, the name for those ace of spades was Old Frizzle.
Old Frizzle.
Yeah, I found that on a website. There was a post about the evolution of the history of the evolution of playing cards, written by a game reviewer named Ender's Game.
And I thought it was going to be Snoop Dogg.
No, but it does have a definite Snoop quality to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of fun. If you've ever, bicycle playing cards are a very popular brand.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the aviation poker cards personally.
Okay.
But I like a good bicycle deck. If you've ever looked at the ace of spades, you might see the number 808 on there. And there's long been speculation that there was some sort of cryptic meaning behind what the 808 is. And apparently it's just a model number because they had earlier decks that were 606s. So there's no like kind of fun hidden meaning to that.
No, and Bicycle is not its own company. It's actually the 8th edition of the U.S. Playing Card Company's designs.
Right.
It's the 8th design they came up with. So that's what that 808 is. And so you'll find that 808 on the ace of spades, you said, right?
Ace of spades, baby.
So that ace of spades, in particular, the bicycle ace of spades, has a really storied history as far as world wars go.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently in World War II, the ace of spades was considered a lucky card. And so sometimes you'd see soldiers carrying the ace of spades around with them.
Yeah, or you see it a lot in the tucked in the helmet in those war movies.
Yes, and this is why most often you'll see it in movies about the Vietnam War. There is a myth that was apparently considered correct at the time, that the Viet Cong viewed the ace of spades as a symbol of death. The legend was that French cartomancers who had occupied the country previous to the war had basically introduced them to the ace of spades as a doom card, and the Viet Cong were just scared to death of it. That's the legend.
But that's not true?
From what I saw, it seems to not necessarily be true. Now we're coming into the true part. There were a couple of lieutenants, I believe, in Charlie Company who rode into the bicycle, to the U.S. Playing Card Company, makers of bicycle cards, and explained this and said, could we just get decks of nothing but the ace of spades? And U.S. Playing Card Company said, you got it. And
for the war effort.
They actually did produce decks of nothing but ace of spades for U.S. soldiers to use to scare or intimidate the Viet Cong.
Yeah, and they were called the Bicycle, trademarked brand, the Bicycle Secret Weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they would drop these cards throughout villages and the jungles and stuff, just to sort of, freak them out, or even though they may not have been.
Yeah, but even if it didn't work as, because the Viet Cong were already primed to be afraid of the ace of spades, you would probably start to associate it with some bad stuff if any time you came upon like a fallen soldier of yours with an ace of spades on his chest laying in the jungle.
Sure.
Even if it hadn't already had that connotation before, I'm sure it developed that connotation pretty quickly just by use of it.
Yeah. By the way, I came across one in my closet the other day, and I came across my box of trading cards.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I popped them out and kind of looked through them real quick. The one thing I forgot that I had in addition to all those Star Wars cards, and it turns out I have a lot of Star Wars cards, and I looked and they're not valuable or not very valuable. But I had a bunch of Superman the movie trading cards.
I remember those, man.
Yeah.
Like they're photographs from the movie, right?
Yeah. Just like little scene stills or whatever.
I remember those.
And then also, even though I don't even remember necessarily being that into the show, I guess I watched it a little bit, but I also have some Battlestar Galactica cards, 80s version, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then a fair amount of football, NBA, hockey, but mostly baseball cards.
Right.
That I think are all basically worthless.
You just jogged my memory. I remember now that they had Rambo trading cards for a little while.
Oh, I would have loved to have had those.
The kind of, I guess it was 3, where he's like shirtless and shooting like rockets at people. Isn't that
I
3?
mean, I was a First Blood guy, and then the Rambos got a little more ridiculous with each one.
Yeah, they did.
You could say, but I stand by First Blood as being a really great movie.
Yeah. It is. It's a good movie, but it's a different genre than the other two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I fully agree.
Although I do have to say that First Blood never produced the greatest chewing gum of all time. Second greatest chewing gum of all time, Rambo chewing gum, which is blackberry flavored Big League Chew.
Oh,
Oh
really?
my God, it was good. And it was second only to lemon lime bubble yum, the kind that was green on the outside with the yellow center.
Yeah, well, I love that stuff.
There's a pack for sale on eBay, and every once in a while I'm like, would it still work? Could I still chew it? Should I buy that?
Like a toothbreaker.
Yeah, probably, but man, that'd be amazing.
Did the Big League Chew have a little caricature of Rambo on it?
It had like a movie still of him shirtless with a rocket launcher shooting it at somebody and like a big fire explosion in the background.
That rocket launcher.
Yeah, and you'd just put the whole pack in your cheek and be like, somebody hand me a rocket launcher.
It's amazing how many products they marketed at us that were phony tobacco products.
Oh, yeah, I used to remember beef jerky chew? It was like a can of dip, but it was shredded beef jerky. Love that stuff. Gum cigarettes that you could puff on.
They still have those. I saw those recently.
Do they really?
And I was like, what? They still make these? And in my local convenience store.
Wow, that's very surprising.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
What about those pink gum cigars?
I don't remember those.
They were just a long stick of gum in the shape of a cigar, and then it had like a cigar band wrapper on it, and they tasted awful. It was the most awful gum there was. Worse than like the sticks that you would get in old baseball card packs. But it was just a different taste, and it was not good gum. But they were still fun to like, pretend you were a up and coming smoker with.
I wonder if there's a candy cane blunt or something like that we don't know about.
I suddenly realized why I started smoking at age 14. I was kind of primed to do that.
Also, before we break, I know we're tangenting on tangents, but I meant to clear up when I told that story about Emily getting a note from her mom to buy cigarettes at the store.
Yeah.
She was like 6 years old.
Wow.
This wasn't a teenage thing because you were like, yeah, I bought them when I was 10 or 11.
Right.
She was younger than my daughter, and just the thought of her going into a store at that age, a child, and getting cigarettes because you have a note is just, it doesn't get any more 70s than that.
Well, not just that, it's very Ohio too.
Yeah.
So much so, I'm going to coin a new term. That's so Ohio. Okay?
Yeah, I like
We're
it.
using that from now on.
All right. Well, let's reel it in, take a break, and we'll come back and talk about the Joker or the Yoker right after this.
Learning things with Chuck and Josh. Learning all the things stuff you should know.
Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you a little bit about Tide Evo because it represents over 10 years of innovation and product development. Tide Evo is a first-of-its-kind technology where tens of thousands of minuscule fibers are spun together to form a 6 times powerful layer packed with scrubbers, brighteners, pre-treaters, and fresheners. And that's going to deliver a breakthrough clean that's so powerful, it feels like magic.
Yeah, it is kind of like magic. Tide Evo is revolutionary. A 100% concentrated, waterless laundry tile that's made of compressed microfiber soap layers rather than liquid or powder. And it's not like pods or sheets because it uses 6 layers of detergent fibers to deliver superior cold water cleaning without plastic packaging of any kind. And it provides a mess-free, lightweight solution that dissolves lickety-split. So whenever you run into a laundry challenge, turn to Tide Evo. It's revolutionary. It's magic. Try new Tide Evo. Real laundry magic. If you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, you know how hard it is to get things done fast and well. Why not have both?
That's right. That's why Wix Harmony stands out. It's a website builder that helps create a site quickly without compromising your vision. You can build a fully functional website for any type of business by just describing what you want. Then everything can be customized and edited to get it exactly right.
There's also built-in support to help answer questions or guide you along the way. And here's what makes it even better. You can click anywhere on your site and make changes instantly. It's these details that make creating with Wix Harmony feel seamless.
That's right. So join millions of businesses already using Wix and try Wix Harmony for free at wix.com/harmony. That's wix.com/harmony. Hey, everybody, we want to talk to you about The Big Bang Theory. That's a show that became one of the most defining sitcom of its era and really built a fan base around its memorable characters and unique group dynamic.
That's right, which is why we think you'll enjoy the official Big Bang Theory podcast. It's back, covering seasons 3 and 4 of the show. Host Jessica Radloff sits down with crew and cast members like Kunal Nair, who plays Raj, Mayim Bialik, who plays Amy, and Kevin Sussman, who plays Stuart.
That's right. You're going to learn all about the Easter eggs you may have missed, behind-the-scenes stories, and how certain real-life relationships shaped some of the most memorable storylines.
Yeah, there's cast reflections years after the series aired and expanded content around famous episodes and storylines. It is exactly what you're looking for if you're a fan of the Big Bang Theory. The season is on video, so watch the official Big Bang Theory podcast on HBO Max, or listen wherever you get your podcasts, and stream episodes of the Big Bang Theory on HBO Max. Okay, Chuck, you really teased it up right before this ad break.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about euchre, and which is where the Joker came from. You play euchre?
Yeah, we've talked about it on the show. It's
that's right.
My Ohio relatives introduced me to it, and I had to get it re-explained every Christmas because I could never remember the rules.
Right. Euchre is very Sohio.
Yes, it's Ohio.
But euchre came from the Alsace region of Germany, and it was originally called Euchrespiel. Okay?
Yeah, with the J-U-C-K.
Yes, J-U-C-K-E-R, Spiel.
Whereas what's the euchre card game? How's that spelled that we play?
Today it's spelled E-U-C-H-R-E, euchre. And then Dave points out like Eucharist. And I think he was trying to trigger in us a mention that he's the host of the hit podcast Biblical Time Machine. That's why I think he put that in there.
Was that what it was? Okay.
Although there's not many words out there that are like the word euchre, but we Latinized it, right? From J-U-C-K-E-R to E-U-C-H-R-E. But originally that J-U-C-K-E-R, in America, people started calling it Juker with the hard J, like the J pronounced, not like a Y. And that very quickly became Joker, which was a card that was designed expressly for the game of euchre, right?
That's right. The Jolly Joker, who has always been sort of a court jestery imp-like person. Mm-hmm. And they think that that's a reference to the Joker in euchre was a trickster who took the tricks of the game.
Because it was the super trump card.
Yeah, exactly. Like the number one trump card. And we're not going to go over euchre, but it's all about the trump cards and descending value of the bower and the left bower. Right. And then the uber card, which is the euchre or the Joker.
And they call those original trump cards, the right and left bower, B-O-W-E-R, like they're in the act of bowing. But that's actually a bastardization of the German Bauer, B-A-U-E-R, which means farmer in German.
Like Jack Bauer.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to see how just completely mixed up things can get
Yeah.
when you just change the spelling of a word and even pronounce it the same, but just change some spellings here or there, and all of a sudden you've just completely lost its original meaning and adopted a new one. I find that fascinating. But anyway, to sum this up, the Joker was created to become the best Bauer, the Imperial Bauer, and then over time, because it was associated expressly with Juker, it became the Joker.
That's right. And we're going to finish up with some fun poker facts / Las Vegas facts.
Yeah.
Here's one. Barry Manilow has his own blackjack tables.
Yes, we've seen them with our own eyes. Didn't play on them because I didn't want to desecrate it by losing on a Barry Manilow table.
But playing cards and gambling obviously is, people started gambling with playing cards a long, long time ago. And when it comes to poker or really any kind of card game you're gambling with, they wanted to, understandably, not have their cards be seen by other people.
Right.
So these sort of gigantic icons of suits and these bigger fonts and things like that wasn't working out. So for poker cards, they introduced a few little changes to make this more possible, to hold your hand tighter together. And that is called the squeezer card, which was, the first cards to have a very small symbol at the top left corner, indicating the number and the pip,
Right.
or the suit.
Right.
And so that's why when you see a poker player holding that really tight hand, all you need is that left-hand corner barely exposed.
Yeah, and those the pip with the number or the letter of the face card is called an indice. Those are indices. And before them, the reason why it makes so much sense in poker, like you were saying, you used to have to spread your cards out wide to say like, oh, there's 9 pips on here. This is a 9 of clubs. And now it was just kind of marked in the corner, which is great because you're not sharing your hand with the other people. There was another way you could give away what kind of cards you had in old style cards, in that the face cards, the court cards, were printed one direction. There was one direction that was up and one direction that was down. Not like today where they're both up or down. It doesn't matter which way it's dealt. Before, you would have had to have taken that court card and flipped it around if it was dealt to you upside down, and you would have just told everybody at the table, I have at least one face card in here.
Yeah, with total give. And think about the Mamluks. They had to sit there and out loud go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they would have to count those pips, and everyone would know you have a 6 of something.
Right, but that's what the poker players had to do too. But
Well,
up until you had the squeezer cards.
I thought they had the number on there. They just had a bigger number.
I don't.
Did they not
think
have the
so.
number at all?
No, I don't think they had the number at all until the squeezer, the indices cards were introduced. And there was one other thing about it too.
Why would they do that? Because other decks of playing cards had numbers on them. Why didn't they just use those?
Like prior to the 19th century,
No, just prior to the squeezer card.
they did. So the squeezer card came out in the 19th century is what I'm saying.
Oh, have they been around for that long?
Yeah. Yes.
And that's the first time that the actual number was printed?
Yes. Before you would just have 9 hearts on there. There you go.
I thought they just did it super small.
No, they put it super small, like out of the gate, but that was to so you wouldn't have to spread your cards out and see what you were dealing with. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, I got you. Sure.
The other thing that was changed with the indices, Chuck, was remember I said that the jacks used to be called knaves?
Mm-hmm.
And a knave is like an assistant to the royal family, basically, or a knight or something like that. And it's spelled like knight, Knave. Well, now that you have the indices and you have A, K, Q, or J, if you had A, K, Q, or KN, which is how they initially abbreviated knave, if you didn't spread your card far enough, you might think you had a king, but in fact you had a jack. And they actually changed knave to jack because of those indices at the top.
Yeah. And they also used to be white on the back. They didn't even have fancy decorations.
That's right.
And if you have it's very easy to mark a white card with some smudge or something, or it might just accidentally get a smudge or a stain or something.
Sure, you're eating Doritos at a poker game? That's going to get everywhere.
And then, of course, the Dorito card is the ace of spades or whatever.
Right.
And apparently the Thomas de la Rue and Company was a British printer who was first credited with those beautiful lithographic designs on the back in the early 19th century. And I did mention Vegas.
Right.
If you dug this stuff up, it's kind of fun. If you wonder how much they switch decks of cards in Vegas, if it's going wild and crazy, they might switch a deck of cards every hour.
Yeah. For that same reason, they don't want them to get marked so that somebody would have an advantage by noticing that there's like a fray on the ace of spades, right corner or something.
Yeah.
The most that they use them for is 12 hours, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's at the Barry Manilow table, which wasn't getting much action.
No. There was another thing, too, that a lot of people point out that we have no idea whether it was purposeful or not, but it's pretty astounding if it's coincidence, right? About the seasons and the year and the months and all that.
Yeah. 52 cards.
Right?
52 weeks.
Yes.
The two colors, are they night and day?
Yes.
Do those four suits represent the four seasons, perhaps?
Correct.
And then what's the last? Just knock them down here.
There's 12 court cards. There's 12 months in the year. There's 13 cards in each suit, and there's 13 full moons in a year. The one so up to this point, you're like, wow, that's pretty amazing. This is the one that gets me. If you count every single pip on all 52 cards and add them together, there are 365 of them.
What?
Yeah, isn't that neat?
That's good stuff.
I agree. And there's a pretty cute TED Talk by a guy named Marco Tempest from several years back where he explains all this while doing pretty neat card tricks. It's a good one. You can find it on YouTube.
All right.
You got anything else about cards?
I got nothing else about cards.
We've done tarot cards, trading cards, playing cards. I guess greeting cards is next.
No, yeah, we could do one on the Hallmark Company. Maybe they'll sponsor it.
Oh, that's a great idea. We'll talk to ad
probably
sales
on the
about
notes.
that one.
Yeah.
Well, while we're off talking to ad sales, we'll hold off on that and instead do a listener mail first.
I'm going to call this just a follow-up as I was talking about people making up their own songs. We heard from quite a few listeners. It seems like mostly bored dads who do the same thing as I do. This is from, who is this from? This is from Jeff. He said, hey guys, at the very beginning of the episode, Chuck details how he makes up songs like That's Tomorrow. My eyes lit up because, dude, I do the exact same thing. Maybe it's a common thing that most people do and they're too embarrassed to admit to, but I've never met anyone else who claims they do it. One example from last night I'm particularly proud of was I was making my 3-year-old daughter dinner, grabbed the box of Annie's macaroni and cheese. Shout out to Annie's. And almost involuntarily, the words flew out of my mouth. And I'll go ahead and sing it in the tune of Nights in White Satin.
Oh, okay.
Shells and white cheddar. Microwave is your friend.
Very nice.
I don't know what's better when there's not much to spend. That's pretty good
great.
stuff.
Yeah, that was really good. Also had a little social commentary at the end, too.
Yeah, and that's from Jeff with a G.
Because it's Annie's brand, I was expecting him to say something like, it's a mac and cheese night for us. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Whew. Wow, I'm getting on that train too, Chuck. It is intoxicating, isn't it?
It is intoxicating.
Well, if you want to be like
Jeff
and tell us about some amazing song you came up with, way to go, by the way, Jeff. That was pretty great. You can email us at stuffpodcast@iheartradio.com.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
When it comes to small business, people want to talk to people, not bots, not voicemail. Your customers or clients want a real human connection. And that's exactly what they get with Ruby. Ruby is the virtual receptionist company that takes care of your callers when you're unavailable, in the middle of something, or just don't want to pick up. They can answer, screen, and transfer calls, as well as take messages, collect payments, book appointments, and more. All while saving you time and making the people you serve feel special. It's available 24/7, 365 days a year, and is 100% based in the U.S. See how it works works at ruby.com, or better yet, give them a call at 844-900-RUBY.
The next time you end up with something on your shirt, don't turn to your usual detergent. Check out Tide Evo. Tide Evo represents over 10 years of innovation in product development. It's a revolutionary 100% concentrated waterless laundry tile made of compressed microfiber soap layers rather than liquid or powder. It's not pods and it's not sheets. It uses 6 layers of detergent fibers to deliver superior cold water cleaning without plastic packaging. It's mess-free, lightweight, and dissolves quickly. Try new Tide Evo. Real laundry magic. Making sense of the news is a full-time job, but it doesn't have to be yours. Not when the Guardian's new podcast, Stateside with Kai and Carter, does it for you. 3 times a week, journalists Kai Wright and Carter Sherman cut right to it, asking what's actually happening and why does it matter. Drawing on the Guardian's reporting, they provide perspectives on everything from sports to fashion and deliver it with clarity and context. Listen to Stateside with Kai and Carter, wherever you get podcasts or watch on YouTube.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.